My love, if you're reading this letter, I need you to take a deep breath before going any further. Not because what I'm about to say is cruel, but because it's true. And truth, when it arrives late, weighs heavier than any lie. I imagine your hands trembling slightly as you hold this paper. I imagine your belly already full, maybe feeling a soft kick while you read my name. And that thought alone breaks me. Knowing you're there, alive, strong, creating life, while I write from a place where death is part of the routine. I don't know what day it is for you now. Time works differently here in you. Days aren't counted, they're survived. Nights don't end, they fade. I'm writing by the shaky light of a small candle, sitting inside what used to be someone's home. The walls are stained with smoke and fear. It's raining outside. It always seems to be raining. And the sound of the rain mixes with something I've learned to recognize far too well. Quick footsteps, metal clashing, voices that suddenly go quiet. There's something I need you to know right from the start, before fear steals the meaning of these words. I love you. I love you with a clarity I never had before. Out here where everything can end in a second, love stops being a nice idea and turns into something physical, like air. I love you for who you are, for who you were with me, and for who you're becoming now, even without me by your side. I think about you being pregnant every single day. I think about your body changing, about the exhaustion you must feel, about the silent fears you carry. I think about the nights you probably lie awake, one hand on your belly, whispering to our child. And it crushes me knowing I'm not there to do that with you. It crushes me imagining that maybe our baby will already be born by the time this letter reaches you, or worse, that he's born and I'll never know. If our child is already in this world when you read this, tell him something for me. Tell him his father thought about him long before he ever saw his face. Tell him there were nights when I closed my eyes and tried to imagine his cry, his hands, the way he'd breathe while sleeping. Tell him his name was spoken here, in the middle of war and noise, like a prayer. Before Vietnam, I thought I understood fear. I didn't. Real fear isn't running or screaming or shaking. Real fear is writing to the woman you love, knowing these words might be all that's left of you. Real fear is realizing your son may grow up learning your face from a photograph instead of your voice. Hugh doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. It's a beautiful city and a wounded one. Narrow streets, tall walls, and a silence that always feels like a trap. The war here doesn't scream, it waits. It hides in windows, on rooftops, in dark hallways. It lives in the air. You learn quickly that surviving doesn't always mean living. I remember the day I was called up. You were sitting on the bed, one hand on your belly, looking at me without saying a word. You didn't cry. That scared me more than anything. You hugged me tight, like your body already knew something my mind refused to accept. I promised I'd come back. I said it with confidence. Looking back now, that promise feels almost cruel. Not because I didn't mean it, but because I understand now that war doesn't respect promises. I didn't come here looking for glory. I didn't come out of pride. I came because I thought it was what I was supposed to do. Because I was told I was protecting a future I'm no longer sure exists. I came believing danger would be quick, organized, almost clean. I was wrong. War is slow, it's messy, and it steals things you didn't even know could be taken. I write this not knowing how much time I have, but as long as my hands still move, I'll keep going. Because you deserve more than silence. You deserve to know who I was, what I felt, and that my last thoughts were always of you. Before I tell you about Hugh, the noise, the fear, the constant tension, I need to take you back for a moment. I need to bring us back to a time when the world still made sense, when the word tomorrow didn't feel like a threat, I need to remember who I was before I became just a name stitched onto a uniform. Because if this letter reaches you, it might matter that you remember me as a man, not just as an absence. I remember our mornings in that small kitchen, the window cracked open, the smell of coffee slowly filling the room while the day woke up. You used to tease me, saying I drank my coffee too fast, like I was afraid it might disappear. I laughed it off. Now I realize I've always been afraid of things ending. Back then, I just didn't know how to put that fear into words. Life felt long, wide open, like it would always stretch forward. I never imagined it could be cut this short. When you told me you were pregnant, it felt like the floor dropped out from under me for a second. Not fear, responsibility. It was like someone placed the whole world in my hands and said, "Take care of this." I remember your nervous smile, the way you squeezed my fingers, almost asking without saying it if I was going to stay. And I did. In that moment. But a part of me was already being pulled away. I started thinking about our child before he even really existed. I thought about what it would feel like to hold him for the first time, about pretending I knew what I was doing while changing a diaper, about teaching him simple things, how to tie his shoes, how to cross the street, how to stand up for himself. I thought about all of it at night while you slept beside me, breathing softly, and I made quiet promises to a future I was sure I'd be part of. Then the draft notice came. A simple piece of paper, cold words, no emotion at all. It didn't say you were pregnant. It didn't say a life was about to begin in our home. It didn't say anything about us. It was just an order. I remember staring at that paper, thinking there had to be a mistake, like they'd mixed up my name with someone else's. When I finally told you, you didn't scream. You didn't cry right away. You just looked at me with those eyes of yours, the ones that always saw more than I said. You placed one hand on your belly and the other on my chest, like you were trying to connect two worlds the war was already tearing apart. That's when I felt a new kind of fear, a deep one. The fear of letting you down, the fear of failing our child. The days after that felt off, like I was living in a place slightly out of sync with everyone else. The streets were the same, people talked about the same things, but to me, everything felt like a quiet goodbye. Every normal moment carried extra weight. Every laugh felt like it might be the last one for a while. And you, tired, scared, pregnant, still tried to be strong for both of us. That hurt more than any argument ever could. The night before I left is burned into me. You were lying on your side, and I watched your face in the dark, trying to memorize every detail, like memory could protect me from what was coming. I wanted to wake you up and say I wasn't going. I wanted to tear up that paper and stay, but I stayed silent. And that silence is one of the things I regret the most. When I arrived in Vietnam, the first thing I felt was disorientation. The heat wasn't just physical, it was pressure, like the air itself was heavy. The smell was unlike anything I'd known before. Wet earth, thick vegetation, smoke, and something metallic I didn't understand until later. And the noise never fully stops. Even when there are no gunshots, there are engines, footsteps, distant voices. It's like silence doesn't exist here anymore. Hue feels like a city that watches you. The old walls, the temples, the houses, everything carries scars. Some you can see, some you can't. The war here doesn't just happen in big explosions. It happens in narrow hallways, behind closed doors, in quick glances. You always feel exposed, like safety is something temporary, something borrowed. At first, I could still think of you as something distant, almost like a dream I'd wake up from when this was over. That didn't last long. After the first firefight, after seeing bodies on the ground, after hearing screams that don't leave your head, you stopped being just hope. You became my anchor, the only thing keeping me whole when everything else felt like it was falling apart. At night, I talked to you in my head. I told you how my day went, like we were still sharing the same bed. I talked to our child too. I told him his dad was trying to be strong, even when he didn't feel like it. It might sound strange, but talking to you both was the only way I could remember I was still human. The fear of dying here isn't constant. It comes in waves. Sometimes it stays quiet for hours, letting you believe you're okay. Then it hits all at once, heavy, overwhelming, making your heart race out of nowhere. In those moments, all I can think about is what I'll lose if I don't make it back. And the hardest part isn't losing my life, it's losing you. If our child has already been born when you're reading this, maybe he's asleep right now. Maybe he's crying. Maybe you're exhausted, trying to hold everything together on your own. The thought of not being there to hold you through that breaks me in a way I can't explain. No firefight, no bullet compares to that quiet pain. I'm not writing this to scare you. I'm writing it to be honest. Out here, honesty is all that's left. War strips away everything unnecessary and leaves only what matters. And what matters to me has always been you, and now our child. Everything else faded into the background. There's still so much I need to tell you. About the men I met here, about the things I've seen, about the parts of me that aren't the same anymore. But I needed you to know this first. Before the war, before the fear, before Hugh, I was already yours. And I still am, even from this far away, even without knowing if I'll ever make it home. It's hard to explain how the fighting really starts here, because it doesn't come with a clear signal or some dramatic build-up. It starts with a strange feeling in your chest, like your body knows what's coming before your mind catches up. A distant sound, a half-heard order, a sudden movement, and then everything is happening all at once. The first day we saw real combat in Hugh, my legs felt like they weren't even mine anymore. They moved on their own, running on instinct instead of thought. The gunfire echoed through the narrow streets, bouncing off the walls until you couldn't tell where it was coming from anymore. The smell of gunpowder mixed with damp air was overwhelming, thick enough to feel like it was sticking to your skin. I remember thinking of you right then, like your name was a place I could hide inside my head when the world got too loud. I watched the first man fall just a few feet away from me. I'm not writing his name here because even now it makes my hand shake. He didn't have time for last words. There was no dramatic moment. He just went down. And in that second, something inside me shifted. I realized how fast a life can end out here. No warning, no meaning, no fairness. That truth settles into your chest and never really leaves. After that, everything felt heavier. Every step felt borrowed. Every breath felt temporary. I started feeling guilty for still being alive while others weren't. It's a quiet kind of guilt, one you don't talk about. It follows you when you eat, when you sit, even when you laugh out of habit. I kept asking myself why I was still standing when others weren't. I met men who looked unbreakable, and I still watched them crack from the inside out. One of them, Miguel, didn't talk much, but he always shared his water without being asked. One night, he told me he had 2 daughters back home and didn't know if he'd ever see them again. He said it calmly, staring at the ground, like he didn't want fear to overhear him. A few days later, Miguel was gone, and his silence stayed with me. Nights in Hugh are worse than the days. During the day, your body is busy surviving. At night, your mind takes over. Every sound feels louder. Every shadow looks like it's hiding something. Sleep doesn't come easy, and when it doesn't last. I wake up suddenly, heart racing, reaching out just to remind myself who I am. And every time, my thoughts go straight to you. I think about your pregnancy constantly, about your body changing, about life growing while I'm surrounded by death. It's a contradiction that's hard to carry. Sometimes I feel selfish for thinking about you so much, but then I realize it's the only thing keeping me sane. Without you, this place would have swallowed me whole. I've seen things I don't know if I'll ever be able to tell you without falling apart. I've seen civilians running with the same fear we carry, kids who don't understand why the world suddenly got so loud. I've seen homes turn into piles of broken memories. And through all of it, I keep asking myself what this is really for, what we're actually protecting anymore. There are moments when I feel myself turning into someone I barely recognize, harder, quieter, more distant. And that scares me almost as much as dying here. Because I don't want to come back empty. I don't want you to meet a stranger if I make it home. I want to still be me, even if I'm marked, even if I'm tired. The fear of never meeting our child started to hurt more than anything else. I wonder if he's already been born, if he's opened his eyes for the first time, if he cries loud or soft, if he has your nose, your eyes, or if he got my habit of frowning when I'm thinking. Knowing all of that could happen without me there takes the air out of my lungs. I've talked about this with other guys late at night. Voices low, like it's something we're not supposed to admit. Most of them feel the same way, even if they don't say it out loud. Everyone left something behind that's waiting for them, or maybe won't be there when they get back. That's when I learned something important. The real battle isn't always in front of you. Sometimes it's in your head, in your chest, in the things you can't control. If anything happens to me here, I want you to know I never stopped thinking about you. Even in the darkest moments, when fear almost took over, I closed my eyes and pictured you and our child. That image gave me the strength to stand up one more time, to take one more step, to keep breathing when it would have been easier to give up. There's still more I need to say, things that are harder to write, truths that weigh a lot. But I needed you to hear this first. The war has already taken a lot from me, but it hasn't taken my love for you or for our child. As long as that stays intact, I'm still me, even here, even in Hugh. There's a moment in war when fear stops being a possibility and turns into a certainty. It doesn't arrive loud or dramatic. It comes quietly, almost politely, like it's taking a seat beside you. That's how it felt the day I realized something inside me had shifted for good. The fighting in Hugh escalated in a way I still struggle to put into words, even now as I write this thinking of you. We were moving down a narrow street, low houses on both sides, some still standing, others torn open like wounds that never had time to heal. The air was thick with smoke and dust. Every step demanded full attention. Even the sound of our own movement felt too loud, like we were announcing ourselves to the world. In moments like that, time stretches and your thoughts stop lining up the way they should. I remember thinking about you in a way that felt almost physical, not as a memory, but as a presence, like you were walking right next to me, like your hand was just inches from mine. That thought gave me strength, and at the same time, it made me vulnerable. Loving something that deeply means the fear of losing it can crush you without warning. Then everything broke loose. I don't know where the first shot came from. I only know it sounded close. Too close. And after that, chaos took over. Shouting, confused orders, boots pounding the ground, bodies moving fast, looking for cover. The world became noise and motion. I threw myself against a wall, felt the rough concrete scrape my back, tasted dust in my mouth, tried to figure out what was happening. That's when I felt it. There was no immediate pain. At first it felt like someone had slammed into my side. Then the burn hit, sharp, deep, spreading fast. I looked down and saw blood soaking through my uniform, dark and real. In that moment, something I'd been avoiding finally settled in. This could be it. My knees gave out. The world tilted. Sounds grew distant, like I was underwater. I tried to breathe, but every breath felt wrong, shallow, forced. I dragged myself toward the edge of the street, looking for shadow, for quiet, for time, any of it. The fear changed shape right there. It wasn't panic anymore. It was clarity. Brutal, undeniable clarity that strips everything down to what actually matters. I thought of you. I thought of our child. I thought of life continuing without me. And a sadness so heavy hit my chest that it almost pushed the pain aside. My hands shook as I pressed against the wound. The blood kept coming. I didn't need anyone to tell me how bad it was. Your body knows when something is wrong in a way words can't explain. A cold feeling started spreading inside me, slow and steady. And still, all I wanted was to write to you. Getting the paper out took effort. The pen felt heavier than it should have. Every movement cost more than the last. But I had to do it. Not for me, for you. So nothing important stayed unsaid. So you wouldn't have to guess what my final thoughts were. So you'd know, without a doubt, that my last act was loving you. If you're reading this now, my love, maybe you already know how my story ended. Maybe someone told you gently, with careful words and long pauses. But I want you to know how it felt for me. There was no hero moment, no speeches. There was fear, yes, but there was also love, and that love was stronger. I thought about our child with an intensity that nearly broke me. I thought about never seeing his face, never hearing his voice, never feeling him fall asleep on my chest. I imagined you holding him for the first time, searching his features for something of me. That thought hurt more than anything, but it also filled me with pride. Because that life exists. Because you exist. Because something of us will keep going. I don't know how much time passed between falling and starting this letter. Time works differently out here. A minute can feel like an hour. An hour can disappear completely. All I know is that every word I write now comes from urgency. I don't want this letter to be a cry for sympathy. I want it to be a bridge between us, even if my body can't cross it. The sound of fighting continues somewhere nearby. Sometimes it feels closer, sometimes farther away. But it doesn't scare me like it used to. There's a deep tiredness settling in now, one that goes beyond the body. And within that tiredness, something unexpected is growing. A calm, not giving up, acceptance. If this really is my last moment, I want you to know I'm not leaving angry at life. I'm leaving sad, yes. I'm leaving scared, yes. But I'm also leaving full of love. And I hope that love is enough to stay with you when I can't. There's still more I need to say. Important things, promises, wishes, forgiveness. As long as I can keep writing, I will. Because you deserve every word. And because our child deserves to know who his father was, even if he can only meet me through this page. If these words are reaching you now, I need you to know that every single line is being written with an effort I didn't know the human body could make. Not just because my strength is fading, but because each sentence opens a different wound. And still, I keep going. I keep going because some things can't stay trapped inside when time starts running out. I want to start by asking you for forgiveness. Not the simple kind, but the deep kind. The kind that comes when a man finally understands everything he won't be able to fix with his own hands. Forgive me for leaving you alone during the most fragile and most powerful moment of your life. Forgive me for not being there to hold you when fear woke you up in the middle of the night. Forgive me for every future we talked about that never got the chance to happen. Forgive me too for all the times I believed there would always be a later. Later after the war. Later after I got back. Later after things settled down. I trusted the future too much, and now I understand the present was the only thing we truly had. If I could go back, I would hold you tighter, listen more carefully, and tell you I loved you far more often, even when it felt obvious. I think about our child constantly as I write this. I think about his arrival into the world, about his first cry, about the way your arms will be the first place he feels safe. It hurts to accept that I may never know the sound of his voice or the weight of his small body in my hands, but I want you to know this. He was loved long before he existed. He was loved here, in the middle of war, surrounded by fear. If one day you read this letter out loud to him, if you choose to do that, tell him his father wasn't a hero or a martyr. Tell him I was just a regular man who loved deeply. Tell him I was scared, that I doubted myself, that I made mistakes. But tell him I thought about him until the very end, that his name was the last thing keeping me grounded when everything else was falling apart. I don't want our son to grow up carrying a heavy absence filled with silence. If you can, speak about me honestly. Tell him about my flaws, my clumsiness, my fears. Tell him about the small things that made me smile. Let him know I wasn't perfect, but that I tried to do the best I could with what I had. My body feels colder now. My hands move slower. Sometimes my vision blurs, and I have to stop for a few seconds before I can keep writing. But my mind is clear, strangely clear. And in that clarity, there's room only for you and for him. There's no anger left, no hate, no resentment, just love and a deep wish for you both to keep living. I want you to live, my love. I don't want this letter to become a chain that ties you to the past. Cry if you need to cry. Scream if you have to. But then, little by little, breathe again. Smile again when you can. Don't feel guilty for finding moments of joy. My love for you doesn't demand a lifetime of sadness. It demands life. If someday someone else reaches your heart, someone who offers you care, respect, and companionship, don't close yourself off because of my memory. I don't want to be a shadow following you. I want to be part of your story, not the end of it. Love isn't betrayed when it changes shape. It's honored when it allows life to go on. Take care of yourself. Take care of our son. Take care of your tired body, your wounded heart, your lonely nights. You don't have to be strong all the time. Let yourself fall when you need to. Let yourself ask for help. Being brave doesn't mean doing everything alone. The sounds of war feel more distant now. I don't know if that's real or if my body is slowly pulling away. The candle is shorter. The flame flickers. And still I write, because every word is a way of staying a little longer. If I could choose one last wish, it would be this: that our son grows up knowing he was wanted, dreamed of, and loved even before his first breath. That he carries not just my absence, but also my hope. That he lives a long, free life, far away from all of this. There are still a few things left to say. Final things, gentle things, promises that don't depend on the body. As long as I have strength, I'll keep going. Because this letter isn't just a goodbye, it's an act of love, and love, even here, even now, is still stronger than fear. As I keep writing, I notice my memories drifting back to the simplest moments, like my mind knows those are the ones that matter most now. It's not the big events that come back first. It's the small things. The sound of your laugh when something caught you off guard, the way you frowned when you were concentrating, the soft rhythm of your footsteps across the floor early in the morning. These memories are quiet, gentle, and maybe that's why they hurt so much. I remember one ordinary afternoon, nothing special about it at all, when we sat on the living room floor because it was too hot and the fan barely worked. We talked about nothing important, small plans, distant dreams. Neither of us knew that kind of normal would one day feel like a treasure. Out here, I've learned that peace doesn't announce itself. You only recognize it once it's gone. If I could go back to a single moment, I wouldn't choose something dramatic. I'd choose one of those nights when you fell asleep with your head on my chest, trusting, calm, like the world couldn't touch us. Back then I thought there would always be more time. Now I know time is fragile, and love should never be postponed. The fear of dying has changed shape. It's not a sudden punch to the chest anymore. It's a quiet presence that sits beside me and waits. It doesn't rush me. It doesn't shout. It just stays. And strangely enough, that calm fear has given me more clarity than I've ever had before. I don't feel hate. I don't feel anger. I feel sadness, yes, but I also feel gratitude. I'm grateful I got to know you. Grateful I got to love and be loved. Grateful for the life we built together, even if it was shorter than we ever planned. So many people move through life without ever knowing real love. I did. I had it with you. It was imperfect, human, and beautiful. And that love is with me now, even here. I think about our son again, about how he'll grow up without knowing my voice, about how he'll learn who I was through your stories, a photograph, this letter. It hurts knowing I won't be the one teaching him how to walk or answering his endless questions. But I trust you. I trust your strength, your kindness, your ability to love even when it hurts. Don't hide pain from him. Pain teaches too, but don't let it define him. Help him understand that his father didn't disappear because he didn't care, but because of circumstances he couldn't control. Tell him that even here, in Hugh, I was thinking about the future I wanted for him. My hands feel clumsier now. Sometimes I have to stop and breathe before continuing. My vision fades in and out, and the candle casts shadows that almost seem to move on their own. I don't know how much longer I can keep writing, but while I can, I'll leave these words behind like small markers on a path, so you can find me again if you ever need to. There's something important I need you to remember. None of this is your fault. You didn't fail. You didn't miss anything you should have done. You gave all the love you had, exactly the way you knew how. I did the same, even if now I understand it wasn't enough. Life isn't measured by perfection. It's measured by intention. If you ever feel alone, if the nights grow too long and heavy, think of me not as an open wound, but as a quiet presence. Think of me as someone who lived, who loved you deeply, and who wants nothing more than for you to keep moving forward. I don't want to be a weight in your memory. I want to be a steady hand at your back. The distant sounds of the war are still there, but they don't control me anymore. My breathing is slow now. Every heartbeat feels deliberate, almost precious. I don't know how much time I have left, but I know this. I'm not afraid the way I used to be. Maybe because I've said what mattered. Maybe because love in the end weighs more than fear. There's still a little more to say. Final words. A last goodbye I don't want to rush. If you're still with me, still reading, thank you. Thank you for holding this paper. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me exist a little longer through your eyes. I'll keep going as long as I can. I can feel that I'm getting close to saying goodbye, and there's no easy way to do that. No set of words feels big enough when you're letting go of the life you wanted to keep living. Still, I don't want to rush this. I want to stay here a little longer, breathing through it, facing it the same way I faced hard moments with you. Slowly, honestly, without turning away. If our son is awake right now, if he's crying while you're reading this, I like to think of that sound as proof that life keeps moving forward. That while one story is ending, another strong one is just beginning. There's a strange kind of peace in that thought. It's not fair, it's not gentle, but it's real. And sometimes, reality is all we have to hold on to. I want to speak to him directly, even if he can't hear me. My son. I don't know what your face looks like or what kind of dreams you'll have. I don't know if you'll be quiet or loud, careful or fearless. but I want you to know that your existence gave me strength when I thought I had none left. Thinking about you kept me alive one more day. Sometimes that was everything. I won't be there to teach you how to ride a bike or answer your first big questions. That hurts more than I can explain. But you're going to grow up guided by the bravest woman I've ever known. Listen to her, respect her, learn from her. The way she sees the world will protect you from more darkness than you realize. My love, I know hard days are coming. I know there will be nights when this letter feels heavier than anything you've ever held. When that happens, don't fight the pain. Let it pass through you. Pain gets tired too, and when it steps back, even for a moment, use that space to live, to breathe, to keep going. I don't want my memory to be an open wound that never closes. I want it to be a scar, real, honest, proof that something meaningful happened. Scars don't hurt forever, but they remind us that we survived. And you will survive. Not because you're invincible, but because you love deeply. The candle is almost gone now. The light is weak, but it's enough. My hands shake, not just from exhaustion, but from the weight of these last words. The silence feels deeper. I don't hear as much movement outside anymore. I don't know if the fighting has moved on, or if I'm the one slowly slipping away. If you ever doubt yourself, if the world asks more from you than you think you can give, come back to this letter only if it helps, not to stay in the past, but to remember that you were loved completely. That kind of love doesn't disappear. It changes shape. It turns into strength, into memory, into a quiet presence. I can't promise I'll be watching over you from somewhere. I don't know how any of that works, but I can promise something simpler and truer. What we had was real, and real things leave marks on you, on our son, on the world, even if in small, unseen ways. Thank you for every day we shared. Thank you for every small gesture, every soft word, every argument, and every reconciliation. Thank you for showing me that love doesn't have to be perfect to be enough. Thank you for making me feel at home, even now, so far away from everything. Writing is getting harder. Each word takes more effort than the last. But there's one more part of this letter I need to finish. One last piece, something I need to say before I put the pen down. If you've stayed with me this far, please stay just a little longer. There isn't much left now, only what matters most. I've reached the end of this letter, and it surprises me that I don't feel panic. I feel tired, deeply tired in a way that goes beyond the body. But I also feel calm. Maybe it's because there's nothing left unsaid. Maybe it's because everything I was able to love is already here, written between these lines. The candle is almost out now. The flame is small, unsteady, like it's tired of fighting the dark. I watch it as I write and think how much it looks like us. Fragile, brief, but still capable of giving light in the thickest darkness. If it goes out before I finish this sentence, know that it wasn't because I didn't want to keep going. My breathing is slow. Each breath feels deliberate, like a quiet decision. The pain isn't sharp anymore, it's distant, like my body is slowly letting go. I'm not afraid of that moment. What scared me was leaving without speaking to you, and now I haven't. I want you to remember one simple truth. You were loved without limits, not in some perfect, polished way, but in a real human way, full of mistakes and silence and effort. What we had wasn't a dream, it was a life, and no one can take that away from you. Not war, not distance, not time. If you ever wonder whether I made peace with myself in the end, the answer is yes. Not because everything made sense, but because I understood that loving was enough. Loving you was how I resisted. Loving you was how I stayed alive. And loving you is what lets me say goodbye without anger. To our son, I want to leave more than words. I want to leave permission Permission to live without carrying guilt that doesn't belong to him. Permission to laugh loudly, to make mistakes, to love without fear. Permission to become his own person, not a shadow of who I was. If one day he asks who I was, tell him the simple truth. I was someone who loved you, and who loved him even before I ever met him. That's enough. Love doesn't need long explanations. You recognize it by what it leaves behind. My love, when this letter ends, when there are no more words to read, don't sit with it in silence for too long. Breathe. Look around you. Come back to the present. The life that continues is also an act of love. You don't honor me by stopping. You honor me by moving forward. I don't know what comes after this. I don't know if there's anything at all. But I leave knowing I loved deeply, and that feels like a good ending. If there is some kind of peace beyond this moment, I imagine it feels a lot like thinking of you without pain. Thank you for giving me a place in your life. Thank you for carrying my name with yours. Thank you for every shared day, every small gesture, every hope we built together. Thank you for our son, even if I only got to know him in my thoughts. I'm putting the pen down now. The words are finished, but the love isn't. That stays with you, always. With everything I was and everything I felt. Rafael Mena.